I want to start off with the offensive tackles, Larry, because looking at it, in my opinion, that's the biggest need on this Niners team. And we're starting up top. First, we're going to be looking at, probably some players who are going to be gone by the time the Niners pick at 31. That being said, I think I want to move up this year, Larry. And I know I consume a lot of Krug show content. I think you're more of the mindset of, hey, trade back, accumulate more picks. But just the way I'm seeing this first round shake out, there's like 25 or 26 players that I love. And I'm not sure any of those guys are going to make it to 31. So I wouldn't mind going up, 7 to 10 spots and getting one of these players that I love. But I want to start off at offensive tackle. I think it's the biggest need. And, we're skipping Joe Walt and Fashanu. They're going too high. Niners, I don't think they can trade up that high. But, Fuaga, maybe he's there at 12, 14. Could they potentially move up? But let's talk about Talise Fuaga because, man, when I put on the tape, Larry, this guy jumped out to me. Like his movement skills at 6'6", 324 were insane. Like he can pull across the formation. He's getting to the second level. Like I was blown away from what I saw from Fuaga. But what do you think about Talisi?
He's nasty. He's a nasty run blocker. This guy kind of would play for free, I think. I mean, this guy's really nasty. I really like him. He's, to me, he's like a Coke machine with a bad attitude. You know what I mean? It's like he's just that wide. He's big and wide and strong, and he just loves to play and he hits. And yeah, I mean, there's no question that to me, he's got the disposition that I really love in an offensive lineman. He wants to hit the guy in front of him. He wants to deal out the pain. Yeah, I really like him. Really like him. I think he's the right disposition. He's he's a guy that wants a fight. It's a short area fight is what it is. And yeah, I like Fuaga a lot. I think he's one of the very, very best. And, he might, I think he's probably going to go, my guess is in the top 15.
Yeah. So if he was there at, 13, 14, what do you think it would cost to go from 31 to 14? Like, is that, you got to include next year's one? You probably would have to give up this year's two at least.
I would say a 2, a 3, and a 4. Maybe a 2, 3, and a 4, something like that.
That's rich.
Unless you're going to move unless you're going to move a player, unless you're going to move Ayuk or something like that, that could get you up. But I think where they're at 31, I would say at least a 2, a 3, and a 4, and maybe even a 2, a 3, a 4, and maybe a conditional day 2 pick next year.
Yeah. To be honest, it sounds like a lot. I wouldn't be mad at it because that's how much I love Fuaga. But why don't we go to this next tackle prospect that another guy I love, and it's Troy Fautanu. I love this kid out of Washington. Like, Larry, this guy moves like a tight end, just with the fluidity and how smooth he plays. He measured better. Like there was a lot of talk kind of pre-combine. Fautanu, I think he's going to be a guard. He doesn't have the length, but hey, the arm length, you see it there on the screen, 60 percentile. I think that kind of surprised some people. And this guy's a tackle. And I think he's the kind of tackle that the Niners like, right? Quicker, guys that can get to the second level. They're more agile, right? We know, the zone scheme. I think Kyle favors those smaller, quicker offensive linemen. I love Fautanu and Fuaga, both those guys. But what do you think about Fautanu? My notes on he's very agile, light on his feet. He takes good angles. These are the notes I jotted down here on the screen.
Well, he played high school volleyball as well. I thought that was interesting. This guy won the Morris Trophy. He was the best offensive lineman in the conference. I thought his movement ability at the combine was rare. I mean, to me, I think this is the guy they want. I know Forster and Lynch went up to Seattle for Husky Pro Day, and I think this is the guy. And a lot of people speculated they wanted Roger Rosengarten, but I think this is the guy they want. Fatanu, why? Because I think he's plug and play. He's ready to go right now, and he fits them because they don't know where the need is, and this guy can play in any of the spots. So I in a lot of ways, I think this is the best offensive lineman. From the standpoint of he's ready to go, he's super fast, he's really aggressive, he's a proven player. I really like Fatanu. I think of all the offensive linemen, I think he fits them the best.
I agree. Okay. It's the consensus between us is we love Fatanu. And then, the broad jump, that kind of shows some explosiveness in that lower body strength. 94th percentile. The vertical jump. I mean,
super smart kid too. He academic honor roll, he showed up at the combine in great shape. He moved better than everybody else. You could see it. So, he's smart, he's tough, he's fast, he's physical, he's versatile. Yeah, this guy, to me, this is the guy they want. Why? Because they're not sure what the offensive line is going to look like. They don't know. The Niners, I don't know that anybody comes in with a starting job, but they don't know exactly what they need. I mean, they may need a right guard if, Feliciano and Burford don't work out. They may need a right tackle if McKivitz doesn't work out. They may need a left tackle if Trent gets hurt or retires. They may need a left guard if Banks walks at the end of the year. So, I mean, this guy's a really good prospect, really solid offensive lineman, can play all 5 spots. To me, this is the guy. Of all the guys, this is the guy they want, I think.
I agree with you. Okay, a few more tackles that I think are going to be, that are going to be gone in the first round. But, after, Alt and Fashanu and Fuaga and Fatanu, I see a little bit of a teardrop. I don't know if you see it that way, but next on my list I want to talk about is J.C. Latham, who, I mean, this is a big boy, 6'6", 342. But you know what the thing is, Larry? I don't think this is the Niners kind of tackle, right? The Niners already had a J.C. Latham. Kyle had a J.C. Latham his first year when he came to the Niners. And who's that? It's Trent Brown, right? And, it didn't last.
Yeah, but Trent Brown's big fat body. This guy's body is ridiculous.
Yeah, but
this is the prototype. This guy is just absolutely
we talked
incredible.
About Fatanu and Fuaga. I don't think Latham has the movement skills that I think these Niners covet, that Forrester and Shanahan covet. They want guys who are going to, wall off the defender, get the right angle because it takes some quickness, get to the second level, pick up the outside linebacker. Maybe they got to pick up a safety. Like that didn't seem to be a strength when I was watching J.C. Latham. I mean, you're not going to bull rush J.C. Latham. He's a wall. But just some of the things I feel like this offensive line coach and Kyle Shanahan covet is just some of the quickness, ability to get to the second level in the zone scheme. So I like Latham, but I don't think the Niners are going to take him. Now, how do you feel about JC?
Love him. Absolutely love him. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. The guy is just you want to build a fortress around Brock Purdy. This is a great pillar of strength. I mean, this guy is awesome. This guy's huge, long arms. I know what you're saying. He's almost too blue chip for them, but you know what? It's time for them to have a blue chip player. This is a guy that's going to make Trent Williams look small. This guy's a monster. I love J.C. Latham. I think he's totally dominant. I know people have suggested maybe he's a guard, maybe, but I think he's a plug and I don't think he's a left tackle, but I think he's a plug and play right tackle that's going to play in the NFL for years. Now, a lot of people don't love the lineage and the history of Alabama offensive linemen, DJ Fluker they've had a lot of big talent. Yeah, Leatherwood. They've had a bunch of big talented guys that haven't performed. This guy is just I think this is the blue chipper. This guy in some ways. This is the right tackle from Central Casting. I mean, this is what you're looking for. I love this kid. He's monstrous. He's got enough foot quickness. He's, when he gets his hands on you, he's just thick and powerful. And I if you're really trying to protect Brock Purdy, I mean, this guy really, I think, is top shelf. He's just so big. He's so big, so strong that his technique doesn't have to be great. It's going to get better because all rookie offensive linemen's technique gets better. But this guy's just so big and so strong and so powerful, and he clutches onto you with those ridiculous monster mitts, and it's like you're done. So I love J.C. Latham.
I like Latham. I think you're a little higher on him than I am, but nothing wrong with that. Now, this next guy, I have a feeling I think I'm a little higher on him than you are, and it's Amari Mims. Okay, when I heard about Mims, and this is before I started watching him. I was just listening to some draft podcasts and whatnot, and we know the limited sample size, right? That's what everyone brings up. He's only started 8 games. He's only played 800 snaps, which is not a lot. So coming in, I did have a preconceived notion that I was like, you know what? This guy ain't a fit for the Niners. He doesn't have the reps needed to start day one and be an upgrade to Colton McKivitz. But then I started watching the tape, Larry. And the more I watched of Amari Mims, the more I liked him. And this is a guy with that limited experience. He might be the one who does slip down the draft board. He was limited. He had the high ankle sprain, had the tightrope surgery, not a ton of experience. The pass set looks a little choppy. Like, it's not as smooth as some of these other guys we've mentioned. That being said, like, it looks choppy, but guys aren't beating him. And it was just the more, like, I watched him versus Tennessee. Then I watched him versus South Carolina. Then I watched him versus Georgia Tech. And it was just like, the more I watched, the more I loved this kid. I went from coming in thinking, he's not a fit. He's not experienced enough, to thinking like, dude, this guy's got the size. He ain't getting beat. He's 6'8", 340, but he doesn't play like he's 340. So I like Mims. I know it could be a bit of a gamble. There's a risk element, but how do you see the big tackle out of Georgia?
Well, I mean, he looks awesome in a uniform. I mean, he's, you're talking about the prototype. He was a 5-star out of high school for good reason. I mean, this guy's got the absolute rarest of rare builds. He's got a thin waist. He's got huge, long arms. But here's my thing is that, I'd want to meet this kid. I'd want to talk to him. I'd want to talk to his coaches. I want to find out what motivates him, because he's got the physical for sure, but does he like to play? Some guys, this guy was born into an ideal offensive tackle's body, but does he like to play football? He only played 8 games or whatever it was. There's guys that, that love football typically play a lot of games, and guys who don't love it find a way out of the games. And I would like to know why he only played 8 games. Partial injury, partially it's the depth, but I mean, it's an incredible talent. This might be the best talent, pure talent. I mean, this is the guy you want coming off the bus. I mean, you're going to love looking at this guy in training camp. But as far as, consistency, I want to know, why did he only play 8 games? Does he love to play? I need offensive linemen who love to play. And I'm always a little concerned too about these super blue chip offensive linemen that come from, places that there's not a lot of adversity. There's not a lot of adversity at University of Georgia. I kind of like guys who come from cold weather and are a little, just kind of rugged. This guy's a super talent, but how tough is he? How much does he love to play? I don't know what the essence of the player is. Physically, he's exactly what you want. And I've seen his highlight reel. He looks really great in the highlight reel, but why did he play so few games? You know, is he gonna be a
Can
guy
I
who
answer
plays
that?
very few
Yeah,
games going forward?
I mean, Georgia, they're an NFL pipeline, right? They had a couple, linemen drafted last year. Warren McClendon by the Rams, Broderick Jones. Like they're a pipeline for offensive linemen. I think that's part of the reason why he didn't get a ton of reps, and also the high ankle injury that he had this season.
Yeah, but I mean, also, some guys tape it up and play. I mean, some guys find a way to get on the field. Some guys find a way to get off the field. I just want to know what I'm getting with this kid, because he looks the part. There's no question. Nobody would ever question, any team that drafts him, because he's so big, so long, such an obvious, great
He's got the
talent.
tools.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the tools, but does he love to play? Is he nasty? Does he want to? Does he want to? Does he want to hit the guy on the other side of the line of scrimmage? Does he want to inflict pain? I mean, I don't know. I mean, a guy like this, he may have just been born into this body, and he's playing offensive tackle because, that's just kind of the body he was born into. Is he nasty? Does he really love to play? I'd want to investigate, but I love the measurables. I mean, he's an incredible talent when you look at it. And if you got a great offensive line coach and you deciphered that he does have the fire. If he's got the fire, I'm interested. If he doesn't have the fire, I'm not interested.
You know what's funny? The way you described Amari Mims is exactly how I describe this next guy we're talking about here, and it's Tyler Guyton. Because my notes on Tyler Guyton, he looks the part, he moves well for a big guy, but then I'm saying I want more nasty, not high effort like that. There's something like when you're watching Fatanu with Fuaga, they're never not blocking somebody, right? If there's no immediate work in front of them, they're going to go find work. I didn't really see that with Tyler Guyton. I didn't see, him trying to run down the linebacker to wall him off to spring the running back. So some of the things you were saying about Mims, I'm saying about Tyler Guyton. I'm lower on Tyler Guyton than consensus. I do not want him at pick 31. Like I said, he looks the part, but I want more nasty. And like you said, from your offensive lineman to want more nasty, it's a bit of a red flag for me. So, but what do you think about Guyton?
I mean, I talked to Trent Williams about him late in the year, and he really likes him now. Does he like him because he's a Sooner? I don't know. Does he like him because he met him at a football camp? I don't know. When I watched his highlight film, he looks good. But then when you watch him in games, he looks like he lacks stamina, physical stamina. And to me, he looks like he lacks a little bit of desire to just bury people. It seems like I've seen, in the midst of plays before the whistle, he looks like he stopped playing. He's physically exactly what you're looking for. 6'7", 330, great balance, really good in the run game. But I'm just concerned about his physical endurance. Just seemed like he was waiting. He wasn't a guy that was playing to the whistle. He was a guy that, blocked his guy and then just, didn't seem like he wanted to bury him, and also looked really, really fatigued. To me, especially in some of the second half of games, this guy looked out of shape and slow, like he was winded.